Alright, so I learned that the inside of that water tank from the hot water heater is lined with the glass that I'm going to have a real tough time getting off there. So I can't use that for a smoker. So I've kind of scrapped that idea and I'm moving on. I'm going to make, instead of a horizontal smoker, I'm going to move on and make a vertical smoker with an offset, well, kind of an offset firebox. I'm going to make it out of this 55-gallon drum. I'm going to try to anyways. I'm going to cut the drum apart today and start putting a door in it. I got to be able to figure that out first. So if I can't do that, then I'm going to have to get all new material and all that and spend some money. So I'm going to try to recycle this 55-gallon drum and not use the water tank. So we'll see where this project takes us. So I'm working on these hinges. I don't have hinges. I didn't go to the store and buy hinges. So I'm going to use this tubing I've got. I've got some left over from another project. I've got plenty of it. So I'm going to use something I have. And this bolt, the bolt won't really fit in there right now. Won't fit in there. It's close, but it won't fit. So what I'm going to do is grind some of the threads down. It'll grind real easy. And I'll just grind the threads down so it'll fit in the tubing. So then I can use that and make a couple of hinges. So I got that bolt to fit down in there, and that'll work. It has to be tight, otherwise it'll be a real sloppy hinge. So it's a real tight fit, and it'll loosen up with a little bit of time, but eventually, after I work it in, it'll be just fine. It'll make a great hinge. So now I'm going to cut down the tubing with my angle grinder to the length of the bolt. And I'm going to use, well, I'll use both bolts here, and I'll cut off the excess length and to the length of the bolts I have for my hinges. And then I'll cut them in half, because you know you can't have just a solid tubing. But I'll cut it to the length, and then I'll cut it in half, and that'll make up my hinge. It's really that simple. And that'll be all I need for these hinges to make the doors on this smoker. So now I drew the outline of the door that I want to put on there. Got it all drawn on there real good. So now all I need to do is cut it out. I'll cut it all out, and then I'll go from there. I'll start mounting it and adapting things to make it all work. So I have the door opening cut out, and then I got this dent in the back I got to pull out. I'm going to try to pull that dent out. I don't really mind it being dented, but it kind of takes up a lot of space, you know, and it's just, yeah, I can pound it out, so it doesn't really bother me that it's dented. I mean, it's going to work just fine. So I got this opening cut out. Now I'm going to use this 3/16 by 1 material to frame in the opening around the door. I'll frame it in, and I'll frame in the door too, so it makes a better seal. And also it's got to make it more rigid, you know, because the barrel itself is made out of a harder steel, so it keeps itself rigid. But you know, now it's flimsy, you know, around there. It's gonna move. It's gonna give, and the door the same way, you know. So to keep everything the same contour, to keep it sealed up, because you know you gotta keep that smoke and the heat inside. I'm gonna make a frame around there. So I'll go ahead and start working on that, and we'll see where that takes us. So here it is. I got the door mounted on its hinges. I made the frames around the doors. I got them mounted on their hinges. This is really hard to actually do and get it to close properly. So it's not closing down here. You know, it all lines up proper, but it's not quite closing all the way on its own. But you know, I'm happy with it. You know, I've got to I think I've got to get some brackets. I think I know what I want. I just have to find them. Some brackets that'll hold that door shut. You know, and make it as tight as possible. I know some smoke might get out around there. As long as the majority of the smoke does its work, I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to try to find some door latches for this, and work on it again another day. Thanks.